What's up, people? My name is Jeffrey Kaminsky, and today we're going to be talking about the top 3 strength exercises you need to do for wrestling. First, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of strength do wrestlers even need? Now, the first and most important kind of strength is postural strength. And we're not talking about the standing up kind of posture. We're talking about the ability to maintain your body's alignment and not be bent over or folded when the guy is hand fighting you hard. Because if it's harder for your opponent to move you, it's harder for them to score on you. The second kind of strength we need is strong hips. Whereas when we're going to lift somebody or sprawl on them, we need our hips to be strong. We also need strong legs for when we're shooting through shots and we're on top driving a forward pressure. Some other things you're going to need are pulling strength for when you're hand fighting, when you're pulling in legs on a shot, as well as grip strength to hold on to wrists, as well as flexibility, because you're going to be putting a lot of extreme ranges of motion in wrestling, and if you're not strong there, not only are you going to get scored on, you're probably going to get hurt. So now that we know what we need for our sport, we're going to move into our first and most important strength building exercise, which is the conventional deadlift. This is the ultimate postural strength builder because unless you look like a scared cat when you're lifting, you are maintaining your posture while lifting the most amount of weights your body physically can. What muscles get fatigued the easiest when you're wrestling? And besides your lungs, you probably answered your lower back and your hamstrings. Guess what muscles the conventional deadlift trains? Your lower back and your hamstrings. So if you use this exercise to strengthen those muscles, not only are you going to be harder to move, you're going to be able to stay in your stance longer, which means you're not going to get taken down as often. You're also probably going to get more grip training benefits out of double overhanding 400 or 500 pounds compared to wrist curls of an empty bar. But what about the sumo deadlift? Now, we have to keep in mind that there's no such thing as a bad exercise, just bad applications. And now both of these are very great pulling exercises from the floor. You can use a lot of weight, but they bias totally different muscle groups. A conventional deadlift biases the lower back, the glutes, and the hamstrings. Collectively referred to as the hips, we need this to be strong for our sport. Whereas the sumo deadlift places more emphasis on the quads and very little on the lower back. So you could make the argument that you should be doing sumo in season, especially during periods of very important competitions, because you don't want your back to be sore, because that'll affect practice, and practice is the most important thing for our sport. But in periods of low competition or in the off season, you should absolutely be doing the conventional deadlift over the sumo deadlift, because we need this to be strong to be better at our sport. Now, you do need the quads to be strong, but our next exercise is going to be far superior than the sumo deadlift will ever be at developing strong quads. Our second most important strength building exercise for wrestling is the front squat. This is the ultimate leg and quad strength builder, and it also is another great postural strength builder, because if you pitch forward at all, you're going to lose the bar. The more important thing that the front squat allows us to do is to train our joints and muscles in the very deep ranges of motion. We get to train our ankles, knees, and hips in a deep squat position, as well as having to have great shoulder mobility in order to get in a front rack position, both of which keep us strong and injury resistant. Why not a Zercher squat? I mean, that's more sport specific, right? You're holding the bar out in front of you like you're holding a person. That is true. It is a great exercise. I love these. But there are 2 main reasons why the front squat is better than the Zercher squat for wrestling. The first is the fact that the Zercher squat you can almost make into a hinge pattern, which we're already getting from our deadlift, and we want more quad emphasis and more squat pattern, which is why we're doing the front squat in the first place. The second thing is the front squat is going to develop a lot more mobility than the Zercher squat ever can, unless you're doing Zercher deadlifts, but Our third and final strength exercise is actually a group of exercises. It's going to be any kind of pulling, whether that's horizontally or vertically. So we're talking about rows, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, rope climbs, etc. All of these are not only going to work the bigger muscles in your back, they're also going to work your biceps with more weight than you could with curls and build your grip strength at the same time. We're going to use all of these things when we're hand fighting, pulling down on heads, or if we're going to be pulling the leg on a shot. All right, so these are my top 3 exercises that I think every wrestler should be doing and should be good at. This is not the end-all be-all. Remember, anything you do to make yourself stronger is going to make you a better athlete. But these are the exercises you should be putting the most emphasis on, and if they are not in your program, you need to ask your strength coach why they aren't. If there's anything you think I missed, leave it in the comment section down below, and if you learned anything today, make sure to subscribe and like the video. See ya. Where's my bench press?